Going on, everybody? It's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about the 2024 NFL Draft, which starts tonight. Now, the first couple of players are going to be quarterbacks. I have no problem with. Everybody know that Caleb Williams is a lock to go into in the first. It would to be the very first pick. Jaden Daniels, he is almost a lock to go second. Now, both of those players are transcendent players. They will be able to improve their ball clubs by a lot. Now, we all know that the Chicago Bears, they've had trouble finding a cornerstone quarterback over the last few drafts. They thought they had one in Mitchell Trubisky. The last great quarterback, well, I'm not even going to say great quarterback, but the last quarterback they had was back in the 1980s, and his name was Jim McMahon. If you are over 35, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're under 35, go look up Jim McMahon on Google right now. And also, the the Chicago Bears quarterbacks, they have never thrown for over 4,000 yards at all. None of the quarterbacks have ever thrown for 4,000 yards. And the Chicago Bears franchise is over 100 years old. So they have been in existence for over 100 years and never had a quarterback throw over 4,000 yards in a season. Now that is bad there. But Caleb Williams, he's a transcendent player. He is going to have immediate success in Chicago. So Chicago Bears are gonna draft him number one. He gonna have success. And plus the division he is going to is it's gonna be a really good division because you have the Detroit Lions, who are not going anywhere. You also have the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. He is making hay with the Green Bay Packers. And also Caleb Williams, that's a three-team race for that's a three-team race for first place in the NFC North. Now, as far as Jaden Daniels, he is a good quarterback. We saw what he did at LSU, dynamic quarterback. Only thing I see with him, they need to help him out by getting them a running back. The Commanders, they also need to get them a running back because Jaden Daniels, he's a running quarterback. He can run, but you don't want your quarterback being the bell cow of your running game either. So Jaden Daniels, I got him going too. As far as the third quarterback, I got Drake May. I believe Drake May, if the Patriots do get him, he will be a backup this season. Cause he gonna have to sit. He gonna have to sit and watch another quarterback because his talent, and now at North Carolina, I'm gonna tell y'all this. What he did at North Carolina was only thing he had to do was throw the ball about 20 to 25 times. North Carolina had a good defense. So only thing he had to do was keep the ball out of harm's way. In the NFL, you might have to put your team on your back for a couple of those games because defense, they gonna stop the run and all of a sudden it's on your back to will your team to victory, whether you got to run the ball or pass the ball. So with Drake May, if he goes third, he is gonna be a backup quarterback this season. If he goes third, they're gonna have somebody in New England to start over him. Now, as far as the fourth pick, now the fourth pick in the draft, everybody's saying that it's Marvin Harrison Jr., which I don't have a problem with that because the Arizona Cardinals, they do need a deep threat at wide receiver. when it comes to last season, they really didn't have many receiving yards at the wide receiver position. So with Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially joining the Arizona Cardinals, that would be a great addition for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, as far as number 5, I'm hearing some names as far as J.J. McCarthy, and I'm also hearing other names like Malik Neighbors could go as well as 5, but I don't see that happening. J.J. McCarthy, he is a quarterback that he's gonna have to be a backup for this season, maybe the first couple of years of his career, because we saw what he did at Michigan. Some games, it was one game versus Penn State where he only threw the ball 8 times. Now in the NFL, like I was saying about Drake May just a few minutes ago, he is gonna have to, if the running game isn't there, he is gonna have to put his team on his back and will his team to victory. That is where the phrase game changers come in at. Can J.J. McCarthy do that? We will see. Now, the next team that is in place is the San Diego Chargers. Now everybody's projecting the San Diego Chargers to get a offensive tackle named Alomenaya Fanesu. If I butchered your name, I'm sorry. But they are expecting to get the offensive tackle from Penn State. Now that would go great for Justin Herbert, because last year Justin Herbert was the 4th most sacked quarterback in the NFL. So behind Bryce Young he was the most sacked quarterback, and Justin Herbert was the fourth most sacked quarterback. So getting somebody like a Penn State offensive tackle, that would go great, because it'll give Justin Herbert more time to pick his spots and throw to his receivers wherever he wants to throw. Now, as far as the Tennessee Titans, another team that is projected to get a offensive tackle named Joel Apt from Notre Dame. He was good at Notre Dame last season. I seen him basically just dominate the offensive line against that game versus the USC Trojans. So he is good, and he doesn't give up too many sacks. So he is going to be a great addition for the Tennessee Titans. That's if he's still sitting there at 7 and if he goes to the Titans. Now, for the Colts, I'm hearing a whole lot of projections about Malik Neighbors going to the Colts. Now, he is a wide receiver, and we already know that as far as who the Colts have as far as wide receiver is Anthony Pierce, and with Malik Neighbors there too, you have two great wide receivers on the Colts. If the Colts do pick Malik Neighbors at 8. Also, you already have Anthony Pierce, who has been there for a couple of years, so he knows the system for the Indianapolis Colts already. So that would be a great addition if the Colts end up picking Malik Neighbors at 8. As far as 9, I'm hearing a lot of projections that the Chicago Bears will pick up Rome on Doomsday from the Washington Huskies. Now, he played with Michael Penix while they were at Washington. If the Bears pick up Rome Odunze, he will be joined by Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams, he has Keenan Allen. He also has DeAndre Swift. He has dynamic offensive weapons already. To add Rome or Doomsday, that would just be icing on the cake for the Chicago Bears at 9. So now that would be a great addition if the Chicago Bears do pick up a Romeo or Doomsday at 9. So number 10. At the 10th spot, I'm hearing a lot of projections. It may be it may be Brock Bowers at 10. Now, as far as if Brock Bowers go to the Jets, he'll be the number one tight end now, because the Jets, they haven't had a number one tight end since, well, they haven't had a number one tight end in a while. It's been at least 15 years since they had a number one tight end now. So that would be great for the Jets if they were able. If Brock Bowers is going to be that low, that's a steal right there. That would be a draft steal in round 1 for Brock Bowers to be that low at 10. So if he goes to the Jets, it would be a great addition. Now, as far as from what I've been seeing, I'm hearing a lot of people say that J.J. McCarthy could go to the Minnesota Vikings at 11. And I'm hearing other things about Bo Nix going to 11 for the Minnesota Vikings. So both of these quarterbacks, now we know Bo Nix, he had a great college career. He was a bad quarterback at Auburn, got out of Auburn, went to Eugene, Oregon, and I mean, he revived his college stint. So both of these quarterbacks, and J.J. McCarthy with him, I say he almost like Drake May. He had a good defense. Only thing he had to do was keep the ball out of harm's way, throw the ball 20 to 25 times, and have a turnover-free day. So that's all I see. That's all I see with both of them quarterbacks. But whoever the Vikings pick at 11, there are going to be some decent quarterbacks. And who's to say if they even want to pick these two quarterbacks? They could pick a wide receiver, a tight end, a defensive back, a cornerback, or a safety for that reason. But as what I'm seeing right now, as far as these projections concerned, this is who the Vikings are set on. But who knows? Something could change by tonight. You never know. Now, as far as number 12, I'm hearing that Dallas Turner could go number 12, and I'm hearing Dallas Turner could go as high as 8 when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. He could go to the Atlanta Falcons. So when it comes to either Dallas Turner or, and then here's another one, people are saying Michael Penix Jr. could go to the Broncos. I don't too much see Michael Penix going to the Broncos. I see him going to a different team like the Raiders, because we all know that the Raiders, they need a quarterback, and the quarterback they have right now, Aiden O'Connell, I mean, we saw how he was the last few games of last season. In one game versus the Chiefs, he only threw 8 passes and they won the game. So you are going to need a dynamic quarterback, and Michael Penix probably still going to be on the board. And also Bo Nix is probably going to still be on the board if you're the Raiders. But that's if the Raiders want those two quarterbacks. Now, as far as for the teams, as far as the Seattle Seahawks, Jacksonville Jaguars, the Cincinnati Bengals, all of them are looking for. Now, the Jaguars, what they are looking for, well, what they are projected to get is a cornerback. But from what I think, what they need is they need more wide receivers and more tight ends. They need to draft, maybe they'll draft a tight end or a wide receiver in the second or third round. But the first round, the projections have them getting a cornerback. Now, Cooper DeJean, he came from Iowa. The Iowa football team, as far as the defensive side, they were great last season. There were a lot of games where they lost by 2 or 3 points. That's because they had a lack of offense on the other side of the ball. So as far as the Jaguars, if they are able to get a tight end in the first round, that would be a steal. We all know that the Jaguars, they want to improve their defense, but also you got to improve that offensive line. You got to be able to give Trevor Lawrence time in order to make the right throws and the right reads, because last season he was also, as far as top 10 in being the sack quarterback. He was top 10 as far as quarterbacks who got sacked the most. So out of that, I say that the Jaguars first, what they need to do is work on the offensive line. Now, as far as a lot of other teams, like, I'm going to give y'all a list of Cincinnati Bengals, Los Angeles Rams, Pittsburgh Steelers, Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles, and Dallas Cowboys. Most of them, they are looking for wide receivers, and I see that some people have Taylor Guyton coming to the Cowboys, and other people have projected that Xavier Worthy is coming to the Cowboys. Now, that would look great. That would look great to have Xavier Worthy in that cowboy blue, that metallic blue with the star on the helmet. But only thing I got to say about the Cowboys, what are you going to do with? You still have to pay CeeDee Lamb. You still got to pay him. And you are bringing Xavier Worthy in on his rookie contract. If anybody doesn't know what a rookie contract is first 4 years. You have your first contract. That's your rookie contract. And the rookie contracts always last 4 years. So if Xavier Worthy is able to come to the Dallas Cowboys, that would be a great addition. That would be a great addition if they are able to do that. But I don't see Xavier Worthy being that low on the first round list. And as far as the last 6 teams I'm going to talk about is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco 49ers, and Kansas City Chiefs. Now, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have Oregon's O-lineman, Jackson Powers Johnson. They are projected to get him in the first round. Now, he came from Oregon, and I was able to look at a little bit of him. Like, I think I seen about maybe 7 Oregon Duck games last season, and I seen where he was a good offensive lineman, kept Bo Nix blind side protected. So he will be a good addition for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if he goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, like I've been saying, what I'm doing, this show is all about projections, and this is always projections. You never know who is going to go first in the draft or who is going to go last. That's why this is all projections right here. The next player I'm going to talk about is Letu. He's an edge rusher. He came from UCLA. UCLA, he was a good edge rusher, but we all know that UCLA, as far as their defense concerned, they gave up 45 points a game last season. Almost. You know what, I'm looking. You know what? UCLA was one of the worst third down defenses last season. So, is anybody going to take a step back and look at what this guy did as far as being on that defense? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. As far as the Buffalo Bills, they need a wide receiver. So we all know that they need a wide receiver. You traded Stephon Diggs last month. So it's time for you to get a wide receiver, and they are projected to get Brian Thompson Jr. First round came from LSU. Brian Thompson Jr., he is a dynamic wide receiver. I seen him at LSU a lot last season. He had four games where he had over 100 yards in the game. So he is a good wide receiver. Hopefully the Buffalo Bills get him. And the Buffalo Bills, they need to get a wide receiver because you have nobody in your wide receiver room who is a top dog right now. You got rid of your top dog when you shipped him to Houston in Stephon Diggs. So you got to come through. You got to bring yourself up in the draft, and you got to regroup. Hopefully you can starting tonight. As far as the Detroit Lions, they are projected to get Chop Robinson, Penn State edge rusher. Now Penn State, they were one of the good defenses last season. They were ranked, as far as out of all college teams, they were ranked 25th in total defense. So this would be a great addition for the Detroit Lions, because we all know that the Detroit Lions defense last season was built on stopping the run. They stopped the run, and then they put pressure on the quarterbacks. So if the Detroit Lions, if he is still sitting there at 29, I know the Detroit Lions, they are going to get that edge rusher. They may get another position. You never know. These are mock drafts right now. These are projections and speculations. Now, the last three players I am going to talk about is Amarius Mims, Adonai Mitchell, and Ladd McConkey. Amarius Mims and Ladd McConkey came from Georgia. We all know how big time Georgia has been the last couple of years. Also, Adonai Mitchell, he came from Texas. Texas, the last couple of years, they have been big time. So all of these players right here, these are Amarius Mims, he's an offensive tackle. If he goes to the Baltimore Ravens, he won't have to deal with, well, I'm not going to say he's not going to have to deal with, but he'll be able to keep Lamar Jackson upright, because Lamar Jackson, he got sacked a lot of times last year when he didn't even have time to set up. So that in and of itself would be a great addition for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the last two players, Adonai Mitchell and Ladd McConkey, both of them are, I would say, they are decent wide receivers. But just like I said, Georgia, their wide receiver room has been so dominant the last few years. Ladd McConkey, he's just been a counterpart. But if he goes to a team like Kansas City, he'll be the bell cow when it comes to wide receivers. Now for Kansas City, they still gonna have Travis Kelce there as far as a tight end, but it would be great for Ladd McConkey to go there so Travis Kelce won't get so much attention. And as far as Adonde Mitchell, he had a breakout year at Texas last season. He would also be a great addition for the San Francisco 49ers. If if the situation, whatever is going on with Brandon Ayuk, doesn't fall through, this would be a great addition so that he could fill that role. Adonde Mitchell can fill that role that Brandon Ayuk has left. That's if he gets traded from the San Francisco 49ers. And with that, those are my reactions to the projections and speculations of the NBA 2024 NFL Draft Round 1. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, the key is always on time.